picked the wrong week to quit from glue.
See me now, veteran of 1,000 psychic wars.
Well, greetings and hello. It's Monday and it's time to start another week. And I don't know if you read any of my comments in the last video, but I was positively gushing, I tell you, about my new home service for the uploading of videos and stuff. I hesitate to get into brand names. It's AT&T Fiber, and the fiber service is it is beautiful. It's gorgeous. Upload speed. I've told everybody who will listen to me and some people who won't. The typical video that I was sending up over DSL was about half an hour long, and it took hours to upload. I would set it to upload Friday night before I went to bed, and then get up Saturday morning and click the final button and upload it. When I uploaded last week's video, I didn't even have time to finish typing in the descriptions. It uploaded like that. I mean, 5 minutes tops for all of it. And that was, you know, a half an hour video. And it used to take, no joke, 5 hours. So, at least. So, I'm happy. I'm happy that that's one less stressful thing and I can upload videos, which means I might be tempted into making longer videos. Yes, you get more of me. Isn't that a lucky thing? We all win. I get to make more videos and don't have to worry about the upload time, so I can make them a little bit longer. More breathing room. Breathing room for the videos, always good. And you just might have to put up with more of me, and that's your trade-off. That's what you signed up for. But this week we are going to finish up on the Gundam, or the Zaku, or what I've taken to call him Gundam Barbie. Somebody teased me about my doll video the other day. That I was, building a doll. This is not a doll. This is not even an action figure. This is a Gundam, but it's Gundam Barbie. So I'm putting the detailing on it, the grime, the grease, the metal flex, and that this week, and I am double checking. Yes, the lights still work. The bulbs are still there. Everybody's happy about that. Especially me, because I really don't want to dig into this thing and rewire it. But we are doing some grunging and some greasing, so let's jump into that, shall we? Here's the table, and right now the Gundam doesn't have a leg to stand on. The funniness never starts. But I've gone through, and I've, just as an example, just to show what I'm doing, is putting some more rustish looking stuff and grime. And my favorite griming color is the Comart Old Oil. And I'm just, dabbing it on with a brush and making oil streaks and down the panel lines and things like that. So I'm going to carry on doing that for a while and then show you the results. Okay, it's the end of Monday, and things are at a standstill on Zaku because I got a rush job, and I mean a red-hot rush job. I got these figures in the mail today. They are the Jimmy Flintstone figures for the Proteus, and I was asked to do a quick paint-up on these by Steve called TV Man so that he could put pictures on his site. So I am in the midst of painting these. They do look a lot better with paint on them than they do in their raw form, and I think that's exactly why he wanted to show them painted up. So I am rushing to get these done. I've got a couple washes on everything, and hopefully tomorrow morning I should be able to finish them up and take the pictures and send them along. But they look quite nice in place. But like I said, the raw resin, or the raw, yeah, these were resin, was not all of that attractive to start with. I will say that I think that Korra bears an uncanny resemblance. I get a focus here. She does have an uncanny resemblance to Amy Winehouse. It's just the hair. But these will get fleshed out and finished up tomorrow. Now you got to remember, you're seeing these much larger than actual size. They are all of 1.5 / 2 inches tall. So when I blow them up like this and you see them on your big screen, you are seeing them much larger than you actually will see them in your model. But you can see there I'm starting to repaint in the seat belt straps and things like that. So it's going to be done in a series of washes and dry brushes. So I put the washes on tonight, and I'll do the dry brushing tomorrow. And here are the final prettiest figures. I have sent photos off to Steve for him to be using in the set on the site, but now that I've got these guys finished, I can pop them into the next prettiest that I build. It won't be the old one because I would have to crack it open to do that, but these guys are ready to go into the next build. I think they came out pretty nice. Now, if you ever want to feel bad about your painting, take a picture of it and blow it up real big, because it will just magnify every flaw and every goof. But these guys are only about 1.5 inches, 2 inches tall, so you're seeing them on your screen much larger than they actually will be. So be kind in your comments, please. And now that all of the prettiest figures have been painted, I can clean this tabletop back off again and get back onto the Zaku, who is standing silent guard over the rest of this mess, and get some more grime and oil and rust on him. Well, now he certainly looks like he's seen better days. You can see a representative bit of damage on the shield, figuring the shield would take the brunt of it. What I did basically was skip across the surface with the Dremel and dig in here and there to simulate flak fire, and then I just airbrushed some black to scorch around it. Now there's one more step I want to do to it, which is to do some silver highlighting around what would be bare metal showing through, but maybe do that part of it tomorrow and see if this is all the damage I want to do up to this level before I decide to do that last bit. But very, very close to being finished, which means it's almost cane time. It is Thursday, and it is the last day on the Gundam, the Zaku 2. I have got one last little bit of detailing to do, and that is to add silver highlights to the scorch marks. And you might not believe it, I hardly do myself, but I'm actually using a Gundam marker for this. I thought I would try it, and it is seeming to work the way I want it to work, but I'm just drawing in or running it lightly over the high spots where the Dremel dug into the plastic, like right there, and I think that's giving me the overall results that I like. Now I might wash down some of that black, but overall I think the scorching is just fine. So let me do some more of this, and then I'll see if my opinion has changed. But right now I'm digging the I've got the chrome Tamiya on standby, but for right now I'm digging the pen action. Okay, I think we're there. Just a little bit of silver highlights on the damage, and on the highest seams, and where I think wear parts would be. Like this plate here would swing back and forth, so I wore in an arc on the bottom there to show where that would hit. And I kind of like the idea that this is at its deepest, it's pulling up the plastic that is a different color underneath. Because you remember this whole model was pink and burgundy, and or coral and burgundy. And when I dug into it with the Dremel, it got through the plastic, through the primer, and down into that original plastic color, which gives it a more lived-in look, because it looks as though it's going through a lower layer of paint, a lower layer. Say that 5 times, lower layer. But just a little bit of highlighting on these, and I think one more slight grunge pass over everything, and we'll be done. But what I want to do is, I'm to the point when I weather that I need to
stop what I'm doing and walk away for a while and then come back for fear of overdoing it. It's always easy to add more. It is less easy to take it away. So before I get too much more carried away, I want to step away and come back to it in a bit. Okay, looking at everything put back together, we've got massive damage here and one here, but this is unscathed and that just won't do. So I need to put a big old damage chunk right through that shoulder, and I might even do something as much as tear a hole in that, because you've got the whole shoulder underneath it. So I might do something dramatic, like actually open up a hole there. Okay, I tore a big old nasty gash in the top of that shield, and luckily there's some interesting detail underneath there of how the parts join together, so I didn't have to like shove any greeblies in there. But I think this is one case where dry brushing a silver over the top is going to be more effective than using the pen. So I've got the old chrome silver out, and I'm just going to lightly hit the high points. And there you got a nice shoulder with a big chunk of armor missing and some detail showing up inside. So now it's time to walk away and come back another day and see whether or not we are in fact finished. Welcome back. It is Friday. It is the last day of the work week, and I'm going to be saying that I am finished with this Gundam character. You may see the last bit of damage on that shoulder piece that I put on yesterday. But yeah, I'm to the point where I'm overworking things now, and I need to say stop, you're done. So stop, I'm done. But one last thing, and here's where I break the rule, one last thing I'm going to do before I put a bow on this bad boy is I am going to rectify an omission that the kit makers at Bandai did. They're very good at giving the the alternate weapons and the alternate hands to use the weapons, but I gotta tell you, if I had all of the wherewithal and resources at my command that Bandai does, I'm sorry, I'll get the camera back on a subject while I'm talking to you, Bandai. The two variations of hands that I got were closed fist, and slightly open fist, which is this guy to hold the weapon. I mean, you have this completely closed fist, and then you have this little bit open fist, and that's all you get for variations. If I ran the zoo, I would use that closed fist hand, but I would alter the tools so that you can snap the tool into the closed fist, not make another set of fists so that you can, you know where I'm going. So I am going to call the character and the Zaku done, but I am going to take this hand and I am going to scratch build a open configuration, a hand that looks more casual and just open, to give some variation to what has been made available. And luckily it's a robot hand, so everything is kind of segments. It's cylinders and balls and a sculpted tip for the the last bit of fingertip where it has to curve up. So if you look at those as three segments, you're basically looking at this kind of construction. It's a cylinder with a ball and another cylinder up against it like this, something like that, and that's easy enough to scratch build. And then once they're all done, I will lightly sand them to flatten two of the sides, because that is a cylinder, but it's a flattened cylinder. So what I'm going to do is sand that. I may take a run out to the hobby shop, see if I can find a slightly smaller diameter rod or styrene tube. I think I can do it in styrene. I'd rather not have to cut a bunch of brass, because it's a lot more monotonous and tricky and hard and all that kind of stuff. Try to cut brass when you can just snap tube. So I'm going to look through the old scrap box and see if I've got anything that might be working a little bit better for that. But I think that's what we're going to do, and we're just going to make up a set of fingers. We're going to be able to use the majority of this piece, certainly the back of the hand, because of the modular nature of how these things are made. I can use, I can't put, there's the back of the hand. Don't make me give you the back of my hand. But I'm going to take, hold on, let me pull these two pieces apart. Okay, basically here is the back of the hand. And what I can do is fill in the palm of, I'll sand that bit down, and then fill the palm of the hand in with some epoxy sculpt. And, you know, cut some of this off, and then I'll cut this off at the knuckle there so that I can, make sure this piece will still fit. But I will use that as the base to put the other fingers on. And now really all I need to do is to make myself happy with the pose that I'm going to do. And I think I'm just going to do a casual, you know, open hand that I could use. I don't think I want to use it like try to make a splayed hand. I have to make use of how the wrist fits. So it's just going to be a hanging straight hand. And that's my goal for today. Okay, here's as much of the kit part hand as I am going to salvage. So what I want to do now is go ahead and sculpt the palm of the hand, just pack that full of epoxy sculpt and let that be curing up while I am working on the fingers. I will use these as a model and obviously referencing the other hands, but I will not be trying to reuse any of those. Okay, there's your standard issue left palm. So I'm going to let that set up and dry, and I've made indents for the pin heads for the fingers. So while that is drying, I'm going to start finger working. And here's the hand I came up with. A little bit of sculpting on the palm there still. The epoxy sculpt has to cure for a while longer before I can paint it, but I think it matches. It matches the left hand that I've got here. I kind of went on this one to measure the segments, particularly for the upper phalangeal segment. This guy right here, I kind of measured him off of what was here for those, and then I kind of guesstimated the rest of it. But I think it'll do. I need to let the epoxy sculpt cure before I can paint this. But I think I take the back off of the hand and then do a primer coat on it. I think it'll come out nice, and I think it fits nicely in the scale of the rest of it, which was the important thing. So you got to hand it to me, folks. I built it single-handedly. Yes, that's trying to get my handed jokes out while I can.
And that, gentle viewer, is going to be it for this week. I give you a wave goodbye with the little new hand. We're going to be one of those rare instances where we're going to finish the week on the finish of our project, which means next week we could start a project all afresh and new and happy. Yeah, I got some painting on this to do, and maybe on a later video I will go back and show you how that turned out. But for right now, there's not much said. I want, just for completion's sake, to say this is the final chapter on the Gundam, and call it a Dundam, and start something fresh next week. So until then, when we'll be probably raising Cain, yes, get used to it. Until then, be good to each other. Have a fine week. Enjoy the weather. It's springtime. Easter Sunday's coming up this weekend. I hope you take time to ponder the majesty that is all of creation. And we'll see you back here next week.